Hey, welcome back. I am so excited to give you the fourth update about our greenhouse. So it has been quite a long haul. Of course, we took the winter off with the project, but now we are full steam ahead. I'm so excited. Last time we left off with windows and the roof, so I've got a little bit more to share with you. So I'm going to play the clips over the last couple months to show you what kind of work we've done on the greenhouse, and then we will catch up at the end and I will discuss all of the details. Enjoy! So to finish the exterior walls, we decided to use some metal siding. We thought it would really help with water against the bottom of the walls. It is pressure treated wood, but we thought it would be extra secure to add the metal roofing, or the siding rather, to divert the water. So we did this little lip edge because there is divots in the metal siding. And then on the upper portion, we decided to use ranch panels, which can be purchased at your big box stores. They are cedar, not pressure treated, but I think they come stained. But I did end up staining over top of them because I wasn't crazy about the cedar look. Yeah, I am going for a black greenhouse in attempts to absorb the heat, because we do have quite a cool winter and fall and spring. Our summers get very, very hot. So yeah, I'll discuss ventilation and airflow later in the video. But yeah, I thought for the cooler months, I definitely wanted to absorb as much of the heat as possible. Plus, I really like the look of a black greenhouse. So here we are with the ranch panels, just cutting, or rather my husband's cutting, just piecing these together around the windows. I'm really happy with how it looked. I love that vertical line that comes from the panel all the way down to the metal siding as well. I'm really happy with how it's coming together. I'm really giving my husband a lot of credit for this project because he did a lot of researching in between working on the project. He was looking at what kind of trim to do, how to do the trim, especially with this metal siding and then the ranch panel, which sits a little bit more flush to the walls. He had to work out the trim in a different way. So it was really interesting. He furred out the upper portion to make it line up with that divot in the metal siding. So yeah, really happy with how that came together. He's definitely a better builder than I am, and I'm so happy with how it looks. So we trimmed out all the windows as we went, and I'm gonna have to come back and actually caulk all the edges as well, just to make sure we're not getting any draft or breeze. These windows are old. We took them out when we had our windows replaced and just saved them for this project, knowing that they would be great for a greenhouse. But yeah, the seals have gone on some of them. So I'm going to have to go through and silicone or caulk the edges as well. So yeah, this is that furring strip that my husband added just to sort of bulk up the upper portion, because yeah, like those ranch panels, like I said, those ranch panels are they sit a little closer to the wall than that metal edging. So yeah, he made it work, and I'm so happy he did. Really, really excited. Every step that we took on this project was just like, one step closer to home, and it was really exciting for me. A lot of work for the hubby, but so rewarding just to see it all come together. And then I found a few things on Marketplace. I found these flagstone that someone was getting rid of. I used them for a pathway. This old little set of furniture that I spray painted. Just trying to do my best to keep the budget down as we're building this structure. It is a greenhouse after all, so yeah, trying to keep it on a budget and getting crafty with all the things. This shows the furring out that he did with the trim, like I said, just to build up that trim so that it was in line with the metal edge as well. Later in the video, I'll be painting it, and it just really pulls it all together instead of having all these different colors. And there's our little porter, keeping us company, or rather keeping us busy, I should say. And then I had this idea to put some raised beds outside of the greenhouse doors on either side. I found these Out Sunny brand, I believe, on Amazon, just to add some more color to the greenhouse. I love that it's going to be black, but I definitely wanted to add some more color with plants, of course, on the exterior as well. So I just went to my local Home Depot and asked them what they recommended, since there are a mix of products on this, and it is a full coverage stain that I'm using in the color Slate, which is pretty much a dark charcoal, almost black, yeah, and it seemed to cover pretty well. I definitely have to come in with a second coat, plus after we did some insulation and things like that, it definitely needs just a little bit more of a touch up, but yeah, totally doable. But just that first coat just really showed me the general look of what to expect, and I was so excited. Just looking back, every step that you take just closer to the finish line really just gets you that much more excited to just keep going and just keep trekking on to the finish line. And the next step was to just finish these little glazing triangles in the roof pitch. So here my husband's just placing 2x2s to sort of hold in place the glazing material, the polycarbonate. So yeah, he placed 2x2s on either side just to sort of sandwich it in. And the next was to spray insulate to make sure we were holding in some of that heat and just moderating the temperatures. So this is the kit we picked up just at our local Home Depot. This is totally a job you could hire out or just get the typical sort of fiberglass stuff, but my husband thought that this would be best for our use. And yeah, it was pretty simple actually. I did a little bit and he did a little bit, and it actually came together quite well, and we were happy with the coverage. One kit did the whole greenhouse, all the walls, and then like you can see, just half of the roof. We chose to not glaze the one part of the roof because we don't get sun in that direction. So yeah, pretty simple, just a very messy job. And on this side is where we decided to put the exhaust fans. So we were just going to use one, but because of the size of the greenhouse and honestly symmetry, we decided to go with two. So here my husband is just framing out the 14 by 14 square, putting in the polycarbonate, and then he's going to cut the square to remove the piece where the exhaust fan will go. So yeah, we just decided that it would be a little bit more aesthetically pleasing to have two exhaust fans there. So yeah, you can see he's placing the left-hand panel in, and then he's going to be cutting to remove, to make sure that there's a spot for the fan. And the next step was to level out the greenhouse floor. I'm not sure what happened, but back when we were doing the foundation, my husband's not sure if it was an optical illusion or a broken level, but we built the greenhouse not level. The walls and the windows are fine, but it was just, thankfully he caught it before he started constructing the walls. But yeah, that was a bit of a trip to find out it wasn't actually level. So yeah, after the fact, of course, like I said, the walls and the windows are level, but just the floor wasn't. So we leveled it out with some rock and then moved on to the soffit. So this is just the one side that's complete, but the other sides will also be the same. And then my husband and daughter had some fun on the roof, just attaching the ridge cap. So this project has been so much fun for me to work on. Of course, it's been a lot of work for my husband, but I'm very, very grateful. I think mixed in with real life and our busy schedules, it was a bit of a reality check for myself. You know, you get this idea that you're going to have a greenhouse in the season that you start building it, but really it was over a year later. But that's okay, it is so worth it now. So I'm so excited. We are at lockup stage. The greenhouse is airtight. We have finished most of the soffits and most of the ridge caps. I am ready to move all of my plants inside now. We just have to figure out electricals. I'll take you inside and explain all of that as well in a minute, but I thought we could just start on the outside and I'll explain all of the things we did out here. Okay, so here we are on the outside. You can see I decided to paint it black on the outside, and that was for two reasons. Aesthetic, I just love the look of the black. I think it's very timeless and yet a little bit modern. And the other idea was just to absorb the heat. So black does have the tendency to absorb the heat, and I thought that that would be very beneficial. Of course, that comes with another set of problems with, you know, what do we do with all this heat in the summer months? But that will be figured out as we go along. I'll talk about ventilation in a minute. Anyway, so if you've watched some of our other videos, you know that some of these these windows were just when we were replacing our house windows, we saved them and decided to build them from that. So that was sort of So that was sort of the inspiration of this greenhouse, just using kind of what we had. I did have an idea for some French doors that we had taken out of the house. Unfortunately, those didn't work. They were interior and they were 2 different sizes, which I didn't know. And just making a frame to fit doors that aren't actually double would have been a lot of work. So we decided just to purchase these. I'm undecided if I'm painting them black. At the moment, I think I like them white, especially because on the inside, I think I'm going to be painting it white. So undecided about that. Let me know what you think. So you did see also, we finished the exterior with 2 different sidings. We have the ranch panels up top, which is sort of like a cedar panel that you can buy. And then on the lower half, we did the metal siding, and that was just to make sure that water was diverting away from the base. We did build the foundation and all of the framing with pressure treated wood, but we just thought for longevity, the metal will definitely help, I think, in just making sure this greenhouse lasts as long as possible. Trim was also something my husband put a lot of thought into. So this is smart trim, which you can get at every big box store. And then the transition between the metal and the ranch panels was also interesting. So he found a little piece of that. You saw us installing that. I did the first coat of paint on this already, knowing that I would have to probably touch it up as well. We did miss this one. We did run out of trim, so we have one more to go here, which that's okay. I know I'm gonna have to paint some more anyway, so we'll finish that as we go. And I was really excited to find this too. So this is flagstone that somebody was taking out of their house. They were doing a little reno project. This was a steal of a deal. This was about $30, I think, for all of it, which is just unreal for flagstone. So it's real rock, really excited about that. It's imperfect because I did it. I was too impatient to wait for my husband's help, but that's okay. It sort of adds to the charm of the place. These are metal raised beds that I bought off Amazon. I actually made them into self-watering planters. I'll link the DIY below with the instructions, but I will make a separate video of that too, because that was a pretty cool process. And the gal who wrote the article where I got the DIY, she actually lives in Southern California. So I think if her summers can go with it and do really well, her plants thrived apparently after many months. After many months trialing them, I think that's a very, very good candidate for us because we do get very, very hot here in the summer. So really excited to see how this works. Planted them up as well, but I will explain that in another video, of course. And I'm really excited about how this wall came together as well. This is the wall that we see from the house. Our living room is just there. So it's really nice to see just this symmetrical, all 3 windows in a row. Really, really happy with that came together as well. And then my husband decided to do glazing in the pitch of the roof, which really, really allows in a lot of light, and I'm super excited about that as well. Of course, I've got some paint touch-ups on this wall as well. This, of course, this direction doesn't get any sun, so we just are using the windows for ventilation and cross breeze. Really excited to have some storage back here, maybe some shovels, rakes, and a little shed for the little lawnmower that we use, that kind of thing once the scaffolding is put away as well. Okay, and this wall faces the road sort of, so not super visible. We've got maybe a couple acres in between us and the road, so it wasn't super visible. So we decided to put the ventilation on this side, and it actually didn't even end up being an eyesore, so it's totally fine that it's on this side anyway. But yeah, they had to go somewhere. So we still have to finish the softening on this side as well, but really excited about how this wall came as well. You can see a little bit of peekaboo. So I'm glad that this side did end up looking rather put together even still. Now this is exciting. It totally feels like it is coming together. I know. The inside is not done. You can see the insulation still. You can see the studs and the framing, but I am such a happy girl right now. This definitely feels like better than I imagined it to be. So I'm so excited. So let me explain to you what's going on in here. We haven't finished the inside yet, but I have some really exciting plans. So let me explain to you what's going on here, what the temperature has been, and what our plans are for ventilation and all of those fun things. Okay, it is hot in here. Let me check the temperature. Okay, so I bought one of these sort of Bluetooth thermostats that you can kind of see the highs and the lows and the minimums and the maximums of your temperature. Right now it is 37 degrees right now. I think it's like 12 or 15 outdoors right now. I'll convert the time. I'll convert the temperature into Fahrenheit for you. But yeah, it gets very warm in here, which is a very obvious problem for greenhouses, right? Especially because the black does absorb the heat, which in our climate, we do have quite a few months where we are very, very cold. We are in Canada, but the summer months do, like I said, get very, very hot here. So the problem is ventilation, airflow, and moderating temperatures. What I've looked and found online is you don't want your temperature to fluctuate more than 20 degrees Celsius. So nighttime temperature of about 10, max during the day would be about 30, right? So you want to keep the temperatures a little bit more moderate because that's a huge fluctuation for your plants. And I think it's too risky for them to do any more than about 20 degrees difference. So our plan for moderating the temperatures and getting in that airflow, we've got 2 ventilations. We have 2 little vents up here, not little, they're about 14 inches. So these are exhaust fans, and the idea is to open a window, crack a window open, and that's gonna suck out the hot, warm air because we do have them placed high and bring in the cool air. And we actually tried it yesterday. We don't have electrical yet, but we did try it yesterday with just an extension cord, and it was so nice. I was sitting right by the open window, which was allowing the cold air to be pulled in, and then outside of these high vents, all the hot air was escaping. So that's really, really nice. Wow.
Wait, is that pushing air in or out?
These exhaust fans are not temperature controlled. So I did buy some plugs on Amazon that are thermostat controlled, which means you can set what temperature you want them to automatically come on. So we will be doing that once we get electrical figured out here. We do need to get an electrician in and hire him to bring power here. I don't know if that's a sub panel, I don't know what that is, but we need to figure out something, or at least a really heavy duty extension cord until that works. So the other thing we're gonna do for ventilation is all of these windows open. So of course we can manually do that. But I did find online that you can get these wax sort of hinges or capsules. I don't know what you call them. I'll put a picture on the screen. And the idea is the wax in this little canister melts, and as it melts, it will open up the hinge of your window, and as it cools down, the wax hardens and it brings the hinge back to close the window. Genius method, and apparently it works really, really well. So I was thinking of using it on the smallest windows just for the sake of the hinges and the weight that it would be. I forget what weight it's rated to, but I think it'll be perfectly fine for these 2 windows here. So we'll just switch out the hardware on this window, put the wax seal in, and as it gets hot, at that certain temperature, I forget what it is, it'll open up the window to release some of that hot air out. So those are the 3 things we have so far. We have exhaust vents, the wax sealed canisters that we will retrofit into these windows. We have actual windows we'll have to manually open. And then the third thing would be an actual fan in here just for movement. So I'll bring in a fan that we have from the house and just have that for just for circulating air as well. Our nighttime temperatures are pretty warm, but now that the greenhouse is sealed, we just got it all sealed up just the other day. I'm watching my thermostat. I've got an app, and it sort of makes a chart of what your lowest temperature is at night, because I want to know how much heat that this holds on to, because I want to know if I need a heater in here at night or not. Because like I said, we want a 20-degree temperature fluctuation max. We don't want any more or less. We don't want any more than that. Okay, so that's all the technical stuff. Now let's get into the pretty stuff of what we have planned to finish the greenhouse on the interior. So the one side of the roof is done. We did glazing on the one side because that's the majority of where the sun comes through. We finished the roof pitches with the polycarbonate. This is what we will be doing for the walls. This is also the ranch panel that we used on the exterior. These are pretty expensive. It's way easier than drywalling. We're just gonna put these up. I'm not sure if it's gonna happen this season. It might happen in the fall when my husband's just a little bit less busy. But that is the plan, to put these ranch panels up all around, just to close it off and just, make it a little bit prettier and tidier. And I do plan to paint the interior of the greenhouse white. And my idea for white is just the fact that it's so reflective. I think just having a really nice bright interior is the look I'm going for. I did debate painting it black because the outside is black, but I think inside I would really appreciate just having it white and bright and light. I'm really excited about that. Okay, you might be wondering why I have a china cabinet in here. So when I was dreaming about how to finish the inside of the greenhouse, and I didn't think there would be any potential to have a growing space here. So I thought, oh, I'll just put something pretty for my vases and it'll be really nice to have, just sort of like a focal point for the greenhouse. But as I'm watching the sun, I do notice that this area does get a tremendous amount of light coming in. So I can use this as a growing area. But I still like it. I'm really excited to put vases in here. Anyway, this was from Marketplace, and I'm really excited to sort of make over the look of it. So I'm thinking of either bleaching the wood to make it a little bit lighter, or painting it white and doing sort of like that shabby chic, rustic white kind of look. And then we will be hanging this top portion of the hutch higher, and then this will be a nice counter space for, like I said, more vases or maybe even growing space as well. But yeah, this was quite a find. This was $50 on Marketplace, solid wood, really, really pretty. There's even a light inside and glass shelves. So I'm thinking if we do finish what we started with the electrical, it would be really, really pretty to have this lit up one day with some vases. Okay, and the center island here, this is a work table we got from Princess Auto, which is an automotive store. Not super exciting, but I saw in their flyer they had this, and this was what the vision I had. I wanted a work table because it's adjustable, A, and B, it's inexpensive and it's solid. It's very, very solid. So this was a better deal than Home Depot, and it's 4x8. It's massive. I'm so excited. Solid wood, adjustable legs, so I can have it counter height if I'm working, and I can lower it to put it more of a table length if I want to have dinner parties or anything fancy in here as well. Really excited about that. I'm thinking like branches and chandeliers and flowers everywhere and having a tea party with all my girlfriends. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Okay, and then over here, we've got a fireplace or a wood stove. I'm thinking in the months of January and February when I'm not doing any growing or seed starting and this is just empty, I might as well just come here and have a little fire, have some tea, read a book in the heat, and just enjoy the beauty of this place. So sort of a silly addition and maybe some people's opinions, but I'm really, really excited to have that there. Okay, and then moving to this side, the whole greenhouse, I would say, gets at least 8 hours of sunlight, especially during the growing season. Winter, probably a little bit less. But I'm thinking of putting raised beds here. I've got some raised beds that we got off Marketplace, again, that are just sitting by the house. And I think it'll be really nice to have some raised beds in here to grow tomatoes and peppers and heat-loving vegetables. So really excited to put that here. I think I'll put at least 2 here in the corner. I think that'll be great. And then moving over here, this whole area I think is going to be for benches, sort of like more of the production area, a potting bench, and then just big, big shelves that go all the way around, sort of like a U shape. Starting here, circling the corner, going all around here, because I think just utilizing this space to just get as much just to get as many plants as I can in here is the goal, right? I want it to be beautiful and functional and host dinner parties, but I also want it to be functional and a very, very good use of space because the thing I've heard about greenhouses is you always wish bigger. So I'm gonna try and use the space as wisely as I can. I think I'll also do some upper shelves as well. I bought these wire racks from Home Depot, and I'm thinking about putting them on hinges up high just to get a little bit more growing space up there as well. Well, that is my update. I'm so glad that you guys could join me and see the progress on this space. It is just a dream come true. I'm so grateful for my husband's hard work on this project. It was definitely a larger project than he anticipated, but honestly, it's better than I even imagined it to be. Really excited to finish this space. Of course, I'll take you along and show you as the time comes as we finish the interior of this place. But for now, it is closed up and it's ready for my plants, and I'm so, so excited. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.